Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another Forza Horizon 6 video. I'm here with the Dodge Dart Hemi. We have the V8 PSDC motor in here, and I'm trying to get it as close to 7.3 as possible, which seems to be very, very close, but yet so far. Because again, ooh, that was a new personal best, 7.414. Because shift pattern is just as important as the tune, right? So I think I have the tune pretty close. Right now it's a matter of shift pattern and also grabbing a photo while I see somebody with a camera thing above their head. Never pass on an opportunity to grab a photo. All right, so what I have done is I've set the car up to wheelie, but I set it up so that it grips coming out rather than having it spin or have it not lift the front end, because weight transfer is extremely important for these cars, especially rear wheel drive, to make the best time. So the specs on the car is the 1046 horsepower, 2380 pounds. This is with the V8 PSDC motor. This car will hit 6.9s with the V12 and all-wheel drive, but most people like to run a V8 motor. They like to run rear-wheel drive because that is more classic what a drag car in people's minds are. I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I will run all-wheel drive V12s. I'll run V8s. I just want to run the fastest time with each particular setup possible. Now, the way I have the car tuned, right now it's 55-45. This is mostly to prevent having to heat up my tires all the time. Okay, your tires once heated will stay at the temperature more with this. Gearing, very important. This is the part that I've been playing with. Sometimes one little tick from one direction or the other on one of these gears will make that difference to get you into that next bracket of time. Alignment, this is the setup. Now, a lot of people do this, okay, with the hope that that will eke out a little bit more top end. I haven't tried that yet with this car because I had it at 0 and it was running great, so I didn't want to go mess with it. But we're going to put it to 5 later and see if that'll help. Full stiff, this is a very important section because little touches here, and combined with this means the car either wheelies or it just doesn't wheelie and it'll spin. Finding these particular settings is a matter of trial and error. I kind of play with different settings. I started actually at 8. I moved it to 7.7. I started at 1.5 here and the car was wheeling all over the place. And I eventually moved it up to 2.5. But I didn't want to go to 2.6. So I started messing with the springs. There's so many combinations, but it all ends up in one go, making the car hook hard in first gear without dragging the bumper. Same thing with this. I lowered this not because I want to keep it low, mostly to just see if it'll do anything. So we just did some minor tweaks, and we're going to run this car again. If you notice, I ran a 4.414 earlier. Oh, I missed that guy. All right, it's okay. We're going to do it now again. The shift pattern is generally until 4th gear, you don't want to go deep into the... Oh, wait, hold on. I can't pass on this opportunity. I'm sorry. That's just the way I am. I need to take these photos. This is how I'm collecting those photos without going through my garage, loading every car and all that fun stuff. All right. Yes, I'm like that. I kind of go 3, 2, squirrel. All right, so this is not as fast. Okay. Not a bad thing. I didn't think I'd launch that well, nor did I shift first gear that great, but it's still solidly in the 7.4s. Mid to low is what I'm looking for. But what we really want now is to get into that 7.3 if at all possible. That requires both reaction time and perfect shifting. So that's where multiple runs are always needed. Okay, fingers crossed. Ah, slower. Damn it. All right. So as you can see, that little tweak so far hasn't made it faster, but that could be a number of things from my driving rather than the tune itself. So we're going to give it a few more shots before I conclude that it's the tune's problem and not the driver's issue. Okay. Oh, jumped. I'm trying to cut a good light. Trying to cut a good light. All right, here we go. Sometimes cutting that super good light isn't as effective as you may think if the car doesn't launch right. Alright, so I go slightly deeper into each gear as I go, but as you can see, this hasn't made it faster for me yet with that adjustment to the front tires. I'm going to actually go ahead and put that back, right? We're going to put it back to, actually we'll put it to 0. We'll put the 1.0. Okay, a little bit, just a... What happens is, with a lot of these things now in this game, in 6 vs 5, is that things are a lot more sensitive. You don't want sloppy, large adjustments. You always want to fine-tune as you go because it's better this way. I'm not going to keep harping on these issues with every video, but at some point, we're going to make a video specifically about drag tuning from my experience, and we'll see where we end up with that. That one I shifted out of first a little too early. Maybe we'll ride out first just a hair longer and see if that will get us closer to that 7.3. Reaction time is probably the difference between that 7.414 run versus 7.45 runs. Okay. So this is basically the shift pattern I've been using, but it depends on whether the car launches right and whether it drags its bumper a little. When it drags its bumper on the ground, when you hear that bang, that's usually not good for the car to make that better time. I'm going to tweak this up one click. I really want that car to launch hard without touching the bumper to the rear. But it needs to wheelie through the first gear fully in order to get the best 60 foot and acceleration out of the car. Here we go. This felt like a good run, but it's a little bit slow. Alright. So the prior settings have actually still generated its best run so far. So I'm going to go back to that setting and increase this, and let's see what happens. Oh, that was faster. That was faster. Not my personal best yet, but that was close. So putting it to 100, I noticed the car really launched nice. That was a nice run, but still, we haven't touched that 7.3 yet. The next step would be gear ratio. That's, but that's a very tricky thing to touch because one little adjustment wrong on the gear ratio and you will go a lot slower. Tire was not warm. Let's try again. Nope, jumped. I did try to get the best reaction there possible, but it did jump. I'm going to have to let that jump thing go and just try to launch it right. Close but no cigar. So at this point, video is getting kind of long. I'm not going to keep, making you guys watch me do runs over and over again, but you kind of see where this is at. What I'm going to do is I am going to save this since this has run a very good run. I'm going to go ahead and save this setup. As you can see, I've been messing with rear wheel drive, 4-gear setup, 70XX all-wheel drive. That actually ran 6.9. And then, oh wait, here's the 6.9. So that ran 7.0, this ran 6.9, And here's my PSDC 7.4XX tune. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save over this and actually share it this time. Generally, I'd like to tell people exactly how to run it, but this, I guess this is good for speed. I don't know. I don't know what to use for this. To me, quite honestly, none of these make a lot of sense. So I'll just put expert because it is manual with clutch. Right, so manual with clutch. It's 3.8K launch, and I think you slight short first. Okay, that's how I got my best run. Let's share this because this tune, people always want this Dart Hemi to have the V8 tune, V12 tunes. The V12s are 7.1s. Again, I'll share that separately once I finalize my tune. And what I can do now is go to load. I think it lets me look at the share code. There it is, 104.218.015. That's the share code. So I hope you liked the video. This is again the V8 setup, not the V12, so it's not as quick. But if you like the video, leave a like. If you like my channel and you like this car and want to see the other tunes, I will make separate videos for them. If you like my channel and like this kind of videos, subscribe, hit the bell. You get notified when I put up new videos. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. I'll catch you next time.